Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. So, I have the honor of interviewing Sabre Buffy. And today we are just going to go through what the Enagic business has provided for her and how she has transformed her business from the beginning until now. So I'm very excited to bring her on. So give me one moment, please.
Woo!
Hello, welcome.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here and taking your time.
Absolutely.
So, so how long have you been with Enagic?
4.5 years, actually.
Nice. And so from the very beginning of your business, what was your process to create a flow within this business?
Are you talking about as far as like my mindset or like my strategy or like how I went about my day or the income? Like what are we talking here?
Well, see, I mean, like, when we began our business, there's so much information that is brought into our field. So, like, in the very beginning, what were your like daily activities that, as you were learning from your mentors, like what were you doing in the beginning to build your business?
Yeah. Well, really, I always let people know, like, if you're learning something an hour a day. I mean, for me, honestly, I was learning probably 8 hours a day because I'm just crazy like that. Um, and then spend an hour a day making content and an hour a day having conversations and building relationships, then that's always going to be the strongest way. Oh, you disappeared. Did you mean to do that? I don't know if you meant to do that. Uh-oh. Now I don't know if I got booted off or she got booted off.
No, I'm here. I just I,
Oh,
I just put you on spotlight.
okay. I didn't know that was going to happen. But yeah, just an hour on follow up, hour on content creation, an hour of learning something new. That's all that I always let people know. I'm like 3 hours a day minimum to do those kinds of things to keep up leveling your skill set. But obviously, if you want to grow faster, which I did, I put all of my time and energy into it. And a big part of that was to, have a morning routine, like get into a flow of building up my self-care habits. And still to this day, it's like just improving and focusing on high performance, being a high performing individual, as well as my fitness and my relationships, my communication, my time management, my mindset, my energy, there's so many layers to being a human. And just like really optimizing that and just having a goal of being 1% better every day. That's always what I let people know, and that's what I've done from the beginning, and that's what I still do to this day, actually. A lot more than an hour though on each thing, because because I'm here to live like my dream life yesterday, and I already am, but also there's always another level, and I just became obsessed with growth that I just live and breathe my business. It's not this thing that I have on the side, or I do a little bit or whatever. Like I am a business owner, like I really had to step in and claim that identity of like, this is what I do, this is how I make a full-time income, this is my identity. So yeah, and it just took really really putting that as a main priority, and shedding the stuff that doesn't need to be a priority anymore.
Right. Excellent. And it's so important. My morning routine, and that's what we have learned, is morning routines are so extremely important just to get the day going. Because, like, when you start your day, the first thing that you do is turn over and reach for that phone and start scrolling or looking at your emails or, certain things. Like, it's just not, um it doesn't start your day in the best producing way.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
it's better to just, because I always start with my morning affirmations and um drinking my water and not turning on my phone until I'm done with my morning routine. What is your morning routine?
I was gonna say I'm not good at that, to be quite honest. I do the thing where I pick up my phone and do the thing. I go in and out of it, and that's been something that I need to get an alarm clock. I notice when I have an alarm clock and I'm not using my phone as the alarm clock, it's
Right.
better. Or I just don't even wake up to an alarm clock, but then it's still there and it's charging. Anyway, it's gone in and out. So yeah, my morning routine's not perfect. I'll totally be honest. I'm like all over the place. I honestly wake up around noon most of the time, and occasionally I will also stay up till sunrise because I'm a night owl. And I just don't make any rules for myself personally. Like, I've been the person that has been like, I'll wake up early and I have to have this. I used to have like a 4-hour morning routine where I'd like write in a journal and all these affirmations and all this stuff and blah, 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 gratitude rants and everything. And I kept working out. I work out every day, no matter what. I go on a walk. I do 10,000 steps a day, no matter what. Sometimes it's morning, sometimes it's evening. I'm going to do my workout actually when I get done with this, and I'm going to do my 10,000 steps probably close to like midnight because I love walking in Paris at midnight. And and yeah, basically, honestly, that's it. I work out and I make sure that I have have a good coffee. And I'll do some kind of learning. Like, I'll do the learning first. So sometimes I'm listening to podcasts on like high performance. I make sure I do get like 8 hours of sleep all the time, no matter what. And I'll be listening to podcasts around, I don't know, anything around like relationships or communications or anything that I'm feeling really inspired around. That's like in my mornings, it's not like strategy business type of learning, but it's more like it's like a softer type of stuff. Like maybe it might be like a mindset thing or something around inspiration. So I'm still feeding my brain with that, you know. But I have like in my office, for example, I have like all my affirmations and vision board and things like that all everywhere. So it's there all the time. So I just wake up and do what I do and just try and really live my life. You know, that's what I really I stand for. It's just having fun and living my life. And I just had to surrender to the fact that I am definitely a night owl. And since moving to Paris too, you know, most of my audience doesn't even wake up until like 5 p.m. my time. So I'm just like, cool. I don't schedule anything before noon. And yeah, it's definitely different than when I lived in the States. And when I lived in Bali, that was a little bit different too, because everybody was asleep by 2 p.m. That was different. I hated that kind of life. I literally would wake up and do calls at like 7 in the morning. I was like, you shouldn't catch me awake at 7 in the morning unless I slept. That's what I do. That's me. So I'm a different morning routine than a lot of people. But I will say I've gone through waves of making it really structured and really loose. But at the end of the day, I try not to put so much pressure on myself because I just believe that I can be successful no matter what I'm doing. That's like what the belief that I always put in my mind in, you know? I think that a lot of manifestation work can get so caught in the like we got to be in a high vibration to like post, or we got to be in a high vibration to make money, or we got to be in a high vibration to do blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, what's the definition of a high vibration? You get to define that, you know?
Right. Definitely. And I mean, like, you just, like you said, you go with what's right for you. You've been doing this business for 4.5 years, so you know exactly what's right and what works for you, Now, in regards to how you started your business and what your flow was in the beginning, what has changed since the beginning? What, like, how'd you get into your own and get your flow now?
Yeah, well, when I started this, I was living in a bus. So I sure as hell wasn't working out. I sure as hell wasn't, I didn't really ever go on walks either, actually. I became a walker once I moved to Paris. But God, I didn't have really any self-care practices so much when I came in. I knew I always had this pressure on like, okay, Sabre, like you need to work out, you need to eat better, etc., etc. But honestly, I was at the tail end of a 16-year eating disorder, and I was in a bus, always telling myself I couldn't afford rent in California. So just where I was at, my mindset was so different, and I certainly was like on my phone from waking up until going to sleep, especially now that I had a business that was on my phone that I could do anywhere. So it was like I really got in this like hustle mentality of like the more I do, the faster I will achieve things. And in a lot of elements that's true. Like that work ethic was actually really, really good for me in a lot of ways, and it got me pretty far. But it came at a cost, right? So there was like a big balance that I had to learn around my business. Like going into I started doing calls actually walking into my third year, and I had never done that before, but I wanted to learn the skill, so I did do it, and I had my first $50,000 month. I actually did that. However, if you saw how much I worked, you'd think I was crazy. And I had a blast. Like seriously, last year, everything that I did, I worked really hard and I also played really, really hard. Probably harder. So it was like both. But I really had to learn a lot of balance, and that just came from like having to go through the experience of like learning how to make money, having money for the first time in my entire life, and learning how to manage it, and then the beliefs that come around that of just like, well, how can we scale this and how can we do this, and then as an entrepreneur you have to go through your terms of burnout in different ways for you to learn, like, and it might be for some people it might be like work related, or for some people it might be like relationship related, or I feel like I experienced all of the spectrums of that, fitness, etc. But yeah, it was like just through, and continues to be. It ain't stopping. There's no end to it. But that journey of, having those experiences of seeing what works and what doesn't work, and then you are experiencing the things that you had as goals when you first started, and then you start creating that, but you want to always continue to optimize and continue to do better, but you also want to enjoy the fruits of your labor too. So it was just a big lesson in balance. I'm learning how to, I always compare it to the analogy of driving a stick. I don't know if you've ever drove a stick before, but you're like pressing the gas and you're pressing the clutch kind of at the same time. There's times in your business and seasons in your business where you're going to need to like really go all out because you're in build phase. Like, you don't have a team yet. You don't have the passive income. Like, you got to do it. And then there's other times where it's like, okay, you're going to like actually take some time to enjoy that and repeat that, so you can like calibrate to that next level or next shift in your gear. And it looks different, and it can get like a little bit chaotic and bumpy for a while, but then when you shift, you actually shift by taking in that experience of actually taking a breather after the big heights, then things get smoother. It's been a fun roller coaster ride. I don't know if that answered your question, but that's really the best way
No,
I
but I
can
mean, like
describe
that's
it.
a perfect analogy in regards to like the driving shift
Mhm.
and and just
It's
the ebbs and flows of everything,
yeah,
and there's so much learning involved. There's so much learning involved, and it's learning one way, and then if it's not working, then pivot. If that's not working, then pivot. And that's the beautiful thing, because there's so many leaders that we can learn from and take so many nuggets from everybody, and then like figure out exactly like a way that works for us. So that's the beautiful thing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. You
um
always get to do what you like and leave the rest and continue to keep growing and be the student as you step into the teacher role, but never take off the student hat, because you're always going to be growing.
yes. So what are your daily key producing activities? Like non-negotiable, like what do you always do?
Well, actually, that was just what I said at the beginning, where it's just I learn something every day. Up with people, I'm having conversations, building connections, and making content. Sometimes I catch it, I can just have one that's throughout the day, but yeah, I always focus on that. And then I'm always actually also working on some kind of projects. There's like just stuff that's working towards like having more automation, etc. Like I do ads and I build funnels and things like that. So it's extra stuff. You don't have to do it, but for like full scalability, to have an assistant and things like that, it is stuff that you eventually put your energy to. So since I have the time freedom to do that, I don't work a regular job. I've been full-time with Enagic for 4 years. So I make sure that I definitely make time for like these other additional projects that I know are going to be creating more leverage and more automation, more freedom in the long term by just like putting more of that energy towards that. So I always call like that digital aspect, where it's like I make sure that I put my time towards things that I know I'm going to be using for years. Every video that I do, like even this, I could take the recording of this, get little snippets of it, crop it. It's going to be in my reels and my stories years to come. It's going to go in my emails. It's going to go in all the things. So everything I do, I just make sure that I'm building it as a digital asset. I'm not just creating something for the day that's going to go in the digital garbage can. I make sure that I plug it into systems that are like building this empire. I have a year's worth of emails now. So when somebody registers for my stuff, they have a year's worth of my emails, stuff that I wrote like years ago. And that's because I've been taking the time to do that and build that little by little all the time.
Right. Are you there?
I am, but you disappeared. Oh, I was wondering if you heard me. Did you get that?
No. No, you froze there. You froze there, but
Dang it. I don't know where it froze.
okay. So last question, how long have you been running ads? Because I mean, like, the main thing with this business is you can either do it organically and creating content and reaching out to people and having conversations and or you can run ads, and it's totally up to you how you want to run the business. But Sabre, how long have you been running ads for?
Well, these ones I've just been running for like a week. I actually took a break from ads for like 6 months or something like that. but before I was running ads for like maybe a year and a half. I just took a break because actually I automated things way too fast. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I gambled and I lost.
Right.
But it's okay. So I had to take a break and just recalibrate and start over. But all's well. It's all still in profit over on that side. But I'm really a fan of both. Like, people aren't going to know, like, and trust you from ads if you're not really consistently building organically. You know, if you're not consistently putting out content and showing up on lives and things like that, your people have to know, like, and trust you if they're finding you on ads. So I'm definitely a fan of doing both. So yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I thank you so very much for taking the time to go through this interview with me. And you have a wonderful time in Paris. And that's the beautiful thing about this company. She's traveled everywhere, and she's lived in Costa Rica and California and Bali and now in Paris, right? I got all four?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes. Traveling queen. Beautiful.
Freedom
All right.
lifestyle. That's really why. Yeah.
Yes. Time freedom, location freedom, and meeting and connecting with such amazing souls. So, if this is called to you, then reach out to any one of us. And thank you. Thank you so much. And wherever you're tuning in from, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you, love. Have a good one. Bye.